Hey everyone, this is P4L, and in today's Transformers review we'll be taking a look at the newest Masterpiece figure from Takara Tomy, and that is the recolor of their MP-21. This is MP-21G, the G2 version of Bumble, or how we know him in the Western world, Bumblebee. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with packaging review, and we're familiar with this. It looks almost exactly the same as what we saw with MP-21, except obviously the updated images for Bumblebee in alt and robot mode, and the first thing that you notice is the striking paint difference. So you get a really rich metallic gold in this figure. Second thing you'll notice is probably the G2 symbol found here and here, and then lastly you'll see the battle mask, or kind of toy version of his face sculpt, that if you ordered from Amazon or ordered from one of the retailers that provided you with the Amazon exclusive stuff, like Toy Dojo, you would have gotten this version for your original Bumblebee as well. But the same thing overall with the Masterpiece packaging. We still get the nice Volkswagen official logo. Come around to the side here, get a side view of alt mode, seeing that it's a Volkswagen Type 1 official licensed product. Over here we have the robot mode. Bottom we got some warnings. We do get the nice holographic sticker here with some kind of serial, and it says valid. Everything they're trying to do to kind of reduce the knockoffs that they've been getting with the Masterpiece line. At the top, just some more information. And the back is where we get, again, the most bang for a buck with the packaging review. You get a lot of extra things here that you didn't get with the original MP-21, and missing Spike and his exosuit this time around. That is replaced with this jetpack that that comes with this set here. You do still get the original Bumblebee faces, so the regular kind of stern face and the smiling face that we got with original MP-21. The jetpack that you see here. You do get logos or decals for either the G1 or G2, or you can actually mix them up. And then down here you still see that you get the spare tire accessory, the blaster, which is black instead of blue, again the jetpack, which is broken up into the main backpack and two kind of, I guess, strap pieces. You do get two side view mirrors, which are only for the left side of the Volkswagen. You get a new stat card, which is in a new style that we'll go into in a bit, and the instruction booklet. But yeah, it actually gives stats about the Volkswagen as well up here. And I'm not actually sure, I don't remember if they had that previously. But very cool. I don't know what any of this says. But yeah, I didn't notice that before. Anyway, that's really it for the exterior packaging. Let's go ahead and get this guy open. Out of the box, this is basically what you'll be getting. You do get the collector's coin that they've been doing for the recent Masterpiece figures. This one does feature the battle mask face, as you can see here, for G2B and the G2 Autobot symbol. The back really is pretty plain, just the G2 symbol. Kind of in a weird kind of embossing, engraving, scratching. Come around to the bottom, just pull this tab out, open it up, and you can flip out the sides here. And again, you get the G2 symbol up here, the new MP-21G coin. It says Goldbug, which isn't really accurate. I mean, this is not Goldbug in the sense that the body doesn't really look like Goldbug. It just looks like regular Bee with a new paint job and a new battle mask. But yeah, that's it for the coin. Just a reminder, if you do pre-order with Toy Dojo early on, they do give you all the kind of extras like the coins and the Amazon exclusives typically at no additional cost. If you start waiting until all the figures actually released or closer to the release date, you usually have to pay a bit of a premium. So just an incentive for you guys to order a little bit early at Toy Dojo. The extras that you get that we saw before. So in here we get this stat card, which I didn't do a detailed comparison with the original MP21 stats, but I believe the stats are different, because one thing that I remember is that his kind of strength was a 1, or maybe it was his firepower was a 1. In any case, there's no 1 here, so there's definitely something different going on with the stats. And the card itself is the new style that we started seeing with Ultra Magnus, I believe, is the first one that got these new stylized artwork cards, as opposed to the kind of older fashioned ones. I really do miss the older ones. I mean, the artwork is nice on these, but you know, consistency for me, I'm kind of OCD like that. Anyway, that's enough on the card. The other thing that you get in the packet, again, are the 2 side view mirrors. And I'll actually show how to install this in a second. Lastly, you get this other baggie that features 2 different things that you'll get. First, you'll get the instructions, which are pretty good. And second, you get the decals. So a number of different decals. You get a 1 or 2 choice, and that's for the chest piece. The 3 and 4 is meant for his front left foot. The front of his left foot, not the front left foot. He's not 4-legged. 5 and 6 is a mystery to me, so you can barely see it. It's a G2, yellow G2 symbol, and it says Autobot, as does 6. And the instructions, I've looked over them and over the box, and I cannot find out where they go. Every other decal they show, but not that one. 7 and 8 are 2 pieces. It's not 1 long piece, it's actually 2 smaller pieces that make up the front bumper. And then 9 and 10 are 9 I thought was going to be for the rear bumper. It says 180 Deceps, and then but it's actually not. It's for part of his forearm. And then 10 is also for the other forearm, and it says I Heart Cybertron. So optionally, you can add these to the correct places. Again, 5 and 6, they don't really tell you anywhere. So again, these instructions are kind of cool. They show a little bit of the comic up at the top here. Just some product images. Not that interesting. They do show you how to install the backpack, which we're going to do a little bit later. And then down here is where they show where the decals go. Again, 1 and 2, your choice can go on the chest, because there is no molded symbol on one side like it was with B. And then 3 and 4 can 3 or 4 can go on his front, the front of his left foot. 5 and 6, they're not here at all. Like they're just missing. 7 and 8 are split up between the front bumper, front license plate, not bumper. And then 9 and 10 are positioned on the right and left arm respectively. And the back side, again, just some more details, transformations. They do talk about how to replace the face, but I'll show that off very quickly as well. Alright, out of the plastic clamshell, we're going to start off with installing the side view mirror. So you do get 2 of them. You just go ahead and clip them off with some nippers, or just pull them off. You can kind of rotate them off. So I have one here, and what you do is go ahead and come up to the left side of G2B and just peg it in like so. Pretty basic, and that's it. You have your G2B ready to roll. I'm not going to go too much into detail on either of the modes because it's basically the same. A couple things I will note is that the paint job is really nice. It is a nice metallic gold flake. I'm trying to catch it in the light so you can see some of the fact it's not just a solid gold. It does contain some metallic flake, which is really nice. Very clean. Not a lot of overspray. I've only seen a little bit of overspray, and definitely not something to complain about. And it's overall a really nice paint job. There's not a lot of imperfections, at least on mine, compared to, say, Sideswipe, who had a lot of complaints about the paint job there. One thing that you will notice is that if you look in the headlights, These were supposed to be painted silver, and they're just bare yellow. So underneath this gold paint is actually just yellow plastic. In the original B, which I'll bring the front of right there, you'll see that that's painted silver. This one is not painted. So that's actually a bit of a disappointment there that they skipped over that or missed that. But otherwise, it's virtually identical to the paint. The paint apps are virtually identical to what we got with original B. The accessories you do get the extra side view mirror just in case you do need it for some reason. But going left to right, we have the jetpack. Oh, I should have put these jetpack pieces. These are kind of the strap pieces. You get the two faces, and these are the original faces that we got with MP21. We got the regular one and the smirking one, I guess smiling one. And still, the lines are a little too soft for me. I do wish the lines on the cheeks and the chin were a little bit more defined and prominent. But again, that may just be me. He does have his blaster. I think they call it laser gun actually in the instructions. It is different than the original B. You can see this is kind of painted a metallic blue, which I prefer. Maybe this is just more accurate to G2B, who knows. And then you do get the spare tire cover. Alright, so let's get these out of the way for now. And just a quick comparison, or at least not a comparison, but just a quick view of his G2 brethren. So I think this is the only other G2 character that we have, or recolor that we have in the Masterpiece line, and that's for G2 Lambor or Sideswipe. I do like it just because they're both really kind of shiny and gaudy. Not so, maybe not gaudy with these two characters in particular, but in general, G2 was well known for its very outlandish paint schemes. Yeah, so that's really it. I'm not going to actually apply any of the decals. I like to keep mine pretty plain. And since we've already done instructions on how to transform this guy, I'm not actually going to spend time doing that, but go ahead and click the link over here if you need transformation help, and that will link you to the original MP21 instructions for my previous review. Here we have G2B transformed into robot mode. And again, the paint applications on this guy are really great. Metallic is usually pretty hard because imperfections are much easier to spot in general. But he does have a really crisp paint application. One of the things I mentioned before is that unlike the original Bumblebee MP21, he doesn't have anything on this side. So the original Bumblebee allowed you to choose between having a plain roof for alt mode and then flipping it so that you can reveal the Autobot symbol on the chest for an accurate robot mode. That's gone. Really, I think the reason they did that was to give you some options. So you could keep one side plain and apply either the G2 or original Autobot logo on the chest here, and then the matching one on the foot. Or, if you really wanted, you could actually apply one on each side and flip between them and not have a plain blank one. So you do have some options there. The battle mask, I never really loved the battle mask. I was much more of a cartoon guy, but it transforms or it replaces the same way. Mine was actually really stuck on there, so I had to unscrew the head on mine and actually loosen it up a couple times by installing it and pulling it back out. But hopefully yours isn't that stuck, and all you would need to do is, let's see if I can actually do this on camera, is be careful, pull on the top and bottom at the same time and pull straight out, and you'll get these two tabs that just post that will come right out, and then you can replace it with either of the other faces by just putting that on and pressing that into place. Very easy, very basic. One thing I did want to mention with the paint apps is that down here, you might not even be able to see it, but down here, there was actually some paint rub on this joint here on my first transformation to robot mode. And it was just because it came from straight and it got a little bit stuck and I could feel it chipping the paint off. And lo and behold, once I did that, I saw that there was some paint rub. Not a huge deal, it's very slight and it is on the hinge, so it's not a huge deal. But just be aware of that. Alright, so that's really it for robot mode review. Let's go ahead and get some accessories on. So we're not gonna put this on because you guys already know about that. You just make use of the license plate piece here. You just pull it off the slot here and you just plug it in for storage. But the reason I wanted to show you that is you need that port or that slot to install the jetpack. The jetpack is actually a few different colors, which is pretty accurate. It has a silver, a darker, almost like gunmetal gray, and then just the bare gray plastic here. The paint apps on mine aren't really great. I do have some overspray there. And the inside is molded, has some nice molded detail on the inside, but it's not completed. Just so it can fit on, you don't have the full thrusters. And to install that, you use this tab to go into the tab on the back where the license plate was. Then you take these two kind of straps, and they have a peg that will go in there. So the easiest way to do it is to kind of lift his arms up like this. This will go over top, and this side will go underneath. And there is actually a small tab there that'll fit into this small tab hole there. So go ahead and put this piece in like so, push that in, and this top piece doesn't tab in, it just kind of sits on top of this piece here, which looks like a tab, but it isn't of use here other than just kind of helping get aligned, but it doesn't actually tab in. So once you have this section tabbed in and this part sitting at least kind of straight, you can push this in. Make sure to do that on both sides. Again, come in from the rear, and there's actually a cutout here, right there, and that's for the bumper piece, which kind of sticks out from the back. And that's why you kind of have to install it this way. Like so. And then from the top view, once you have that all situated, you just want to plug these in. Like that. It might take a little bit of doing, but yeah, that way you have him all installed. Bring his arms down, and he's off on his jetpack. And it looks really good installed. It would have been kind of nice to have it completed here to actually look like straps as opposed to just sticking on. But it's kind of a fun accessory, even though I don't remember him using the jetpack all that much, maybe in like one episode. So many of these accessories we see with characters are things you see in like one episode, like the famous, Energon mace and axe for Megatron and Optimus. And you can make use of this on your original B if you want to do that. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and bring in the original B for kind of a comparison in robot mode. So you can see this guy's really bright. He is a darker gold color. But it is a really nice paint job. I actually do prefer it. And Again, you might not be able to catch this on my camera. There is some slight overspray here. This is much cleaner overall. No, then again, I do have some overspray there. So I'm wrong. In any case, these guys do look really good together. I don't have like a separate G2 shelf. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as display for this guy. But I think it's a worthwhile addition to your collection just because it is a really nice mold. I do like the mold overall. It still suffers from kind of the open gap here and kind of the larger feet. But I think it's a really fun and well-engineered figure. I like the transformation a lot. And since it is really well done, and you do get some new accessories, you're not just getting the same exact figure with a recolor, you're getting that set of jetpack. I think it is kind of a worthwhile pickup, and it's pretty cheap too, so it might be worthwhile for your collection. Go ahead and make that determining factor yourself. But you can probably imagine they're going to do a lot of G2 recolors moving forward, so you may have a G2 shelf sooner rather than later. Alright, I think that's it for the review. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and share along with your friends on all sorts of social media. Some of the stuff that's way beyond me probably, like Instagram and Vine and all this stuff that I don't do. Even Twitter I'm not very active on. But yeah, if you want to keep up to date with my news and reviews, you can always click subscribe here if you haven't already. Or go ahead and like my page on Facebook at P4L Reviews. Alright, that's all for today everyone. Hope you have a good one.